The Toyota HiLux has spent decades building a reputation for going almost anywhere and doing almost anything. Now, for the first time in Australia, it can do it in complete silence. But there is a problem. Toyota says the electric HiLux can travel up to 315 kilometers. Early Australian testing tells a very different story. Its towing limit has lost 1.5 tons compared with the diesel. And there is one more number, which we will reveal later, that could decide whether this is a clever new workhorse or one of the hardest HiLux models to justify. So, has Toyota built the electric ute Australia actually needs? Or a specialized fleet vehicle wearing a badge that promises far more freedom than the battery can deliver? Watch right through to the end because we are going beyond the brochure. We will calculate the realistic range, uncover the compromises that matter once you add tools or a trailer, and finish with a simple buyer test. By the end, you will know in less than a minute whether the electric HiLux fits your life or whether buying one would be a very expensive mistake. G'day, and welcome to TorqIQ. Where we cut through the hype and focus on what a new vehicle actually means for Australian drivers. Let's clear up the range confusion straight away, because plenty of headlines have mixed up the numbers. Toyota quotes 315 kilometers for the SR and SR5 Double-Cab Pickups. The SR Double-Cab cab chassis is rated at 245 kilometers, and that figure is calculated before you fit a tray. But there is a catch. Those are NEDC test figures. NEDC is an older and generally more optimistic laboratory standard than WLTP, and neither test can perfectly represent a loaded ute working through an Australian summer. During early Australian launch drives, reviewers recorded energy consumption of roughly 25.5 to 30 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. With a 59.2 kilowatt hour battery, the practical expectation is closer to the low to mid 200s, not the headline 315. Especially once you add highway speeds, tools, passengers, air conditioning, hills, or a trailer. That distinction matters. 315 kilometers sounds limited but manageable. 220 kilometers on a hot day, with gear in the tray and no charger near the job, is a completely different ownership proposition, and towing will reduce it further. Toyota has not published one universal towing range number because the result changes enormously with trailer weight, shape, speed, wind, and terrain. But the physics is unavoidable. Put a large, blunt trailer behind any EV and energy use rises sharply. So if your dream is a silent lap of Australia with a caravan, this is not the HiLux for that job. Not even close. Now, if you appreciate straight Australian car analysis without the marketing spin, subscribe to TorqIQ. This is a new channel, and your support helps us make more buyer-focused videos like this one. Toyota is not pretending this is the new default HiLux. The company expects the early market to be heavily fleet-focused. Think mining sites, councils, airports, utilities, and businesses with predictable routes, rather than a private owner towing a boat down the coast every other weekend. And once you look at it through that lens, some of Toyota's decisions start to make sense. Every Australian HiLux BEV gets a dual-motor, full-time, all-wheel drive system. The front motor is rated at just over 82 kilowatts, and the rear at just over 129. Because both do not deliver their maximum at exactly the same time, total system output is 144 kilowatts. That is not a monster number. Several plug-in hybrid utes produce far more power, but an electric motor responds instantly, and the HiLux moves away from a stop with a smoothness the diesel cannot match. It is not sports car quick. It is simply quiet, immediate, and easy to place in traffic. For someone spending all day moving between suburban jobs, that refinement matters. No diesel clatter. No waiting for a gearbox to choose a ratio. No vibration sitting at the lights. Just press the accelerator and go. The electric drivetrain also gives you progressive control at low speed. Off-road, instant torque can be useful when the software is calibrated properly. Toyota includes selectable terrain modes for surfaces such as dirt, sand, mud, and moguls. Ground clearance is 218 millimeters, and the battery is mounted inside a reinforced frame with protection underneath. The HiLux BEV has also earned a 5-star ANCAP safety rating after additional electric vehicle crash testing. So this is not a rough conversion with a battery shoved underneath. Toyota has engineered the electric system into the ladder frame platform and tested the high-voltage hardware properly. But capability is where the compromises return. Maximum braked towing capacity is 2,000 kilos. The core diesel HiLux can tow 3,500. That is a reduction of 1.5 tons. 2,000 kilos will still cover a box trailer, a small boat, or plenty of work equipment, but it rules out many large caravans, horse floats, machinery trailers, and heavy trade setups. And remember, being under the legal towing limit does not solve the range problem. A heavy trailer can be legal and still turn your charging plan into a headache. Payload depends on the model. Based on Toyota's published figures, the SR pickup offers about 725 kilos. The SR5 drops to roughly 715. The cab chassis has a nominal figure of around 855 kilos before a tray is fitted, so the finished vehicle will carry less once the tray and accessories are added. For comparison, an equivalent diesel SR5 can offer close to a ton. Add a canopy, bull bar, drawers, tools, passengers, and tow ball load, and those 700-odd kilos can disappear quickly. This is why a proper payload calculation matters. Check the vehicle's actual weight after accessories, its gross vehicle mass, gross combined mass, and tow ball download. Those figures are the difference between a capable setup and an overloaded ute. Then we get to charging. The battery capacity is 59.2 kilowatt hours. Maximum DC charging power is 150 kilowatts, and Toyota says a 10 to 80% fast charge can take about 30 minutes in suitable conditions. That sounds decent, but it needs context. You need a charger capable of delivering the power, a battery at the right temperature, and a charging curve that holds a useful rate. Public chargers can also be busy, broken, or slower than their signs suggest. 30 minutes is Toyota's approximate best-case window, not a promise at every charger in the country. On AC power, the HiLux can accept up to 10 kilowatts. Toyota quotes about 6.5 hours from 10 to 100% using suitable three-phase charging. Both Type 2 AC and CCS2 fast charging connections are supported, and Toyota includes Mode 2 and Mode 3 cables. For a fleet returning to the same depot every night, that is workable. The ute arrives, it plugs in, and it starts the next shift with a full battery. A business can schedule charging, monitor daily kilometers, and potentially use on-site solar during daylight hours. For an apartment resident relying on public charging, or a regional owner without dependable infrastructure, it is much harder to recommend. Buying an EV without a reliable charging routine is like buying a diesel ute when the nearest servo is 2 towns away. The vehicle might be fine, but the ownership plan is not. There is one useful worksite feature that deserves more attention. Every electric HiLux includes a 220-volt, 1,500-watt inverter. That gives you a domestic-style power outlet for smaller tools, chargers, or appliances. It is not a complete mobile power station, and the outlet is awkwardly positioned inside the center console, but it could still be genuinely handy. Now that we know what this HiLux can actually do, it is time for the number we held back at the beginning. The electric HiLux comes in 3 versions. The SR Double-Cab cab chassis starts at $74,990. The SR Double-Cab Pick-Up is $76,490. And the SR5 Double-Cab Pick-Up is $82,990. All 3 prices are before on-road costs. For context, the electric SR5 carries a premium of about $17,000 over the equivalent diesel SR5. Depending on your state and registration costs, the flagship can push well into the high $80,000 range on the road. That is serious money for a HiLux with less towing capacity, less payload, and far less touring range than the diesel parked beside it. But do not make the final call yet, because its narrow use case is also the reason this expensive ute could still save the right operator money. Inside, the electric HiLux feels much like the new generation diesel. A 12.3-inch digital driver's display shows battery charge, energy use, and power distribution. A matching central touchscreen includes wired and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The SR remains work-focused, while the SR5 adds heated front seats, powered driver's seat adjustment, wireless phone charging, and rear air vents. The electric model uses an electronic park brake and a compact shift selector. It does not have a traditional low-range transfer case or mechanical differential locks. The electric all-wheel drive system and terrain software do the work instead. For muddy access tracks, work sites, and moderate off-roading, that may be enough. For remote touring, hardcore rock work, or any situation where recovery could leave you far from a charger, the diesel remains the safer and more flexible choice. There is also a full-size alloy spare. The battery warranty covers 8 years or 160,000 kilometers, with Toyota guaranteeing at least 70% of original capacity. The wider vehicle warranty is 5 years with unlimited kilometers, subject to Toyota's terms and servicing requirements. Official one-line answer, but the engineering trade-off is clear. A larger battery could add range, but it would also add cost and weight. More weight can reduce payload, increase energy consumption, and place extra demands on the chassis, brakes, and tires. Toyota appears to have prioritized a fleet-friendly work ute for defined routes rather than trying to build an electric long-distance tow rig. That strategy is commercially sensible, even if it disappoints private buyers. Mining companies and major operators have already trialed electric HiLux prototypes in Australian heat, dust, and humidity. On a mine site, a ute might travel predictable distances, operate at lower speeds, and return to a charging base. Tailpipe emissions, noise, and fuel logistics can matter more there than highway range. The exact same vehicle can be a poor choice for a caravan owner and a smart choice for a council maintenance crew. That is the key to understanding this HiLux. It is not useless. It is specialized. The problem is the badge. Australians see the word HiLux and expect one vehicle to do nearly everything. Load it for work on Friday, tow the boat on Saturday, head bush on Sunday, and drive hundreds of kilometers home without thinking about fuel. This electric version cannot deliver that same freedom. It also arrives in a market where plug-in hybrid utes offer a tempting compromise. Models such as the BYD Shark 6, Ford Ranger PHEV, GWM Cannon Alpha PHEV, and Jack Hunter PHEV can cover shorter trips using electricity, then rely on petrol for longer journeys. Those vehicles are not automatically better. A plug-in hybrid has 2 power systems, more mechanical complexity, and only delivers its best efficiency if the owner actually charges it. Some also have their own payload, towing, or off-road compromises. But for an Australian buyer who wants electric commuting without giving up rapid refueling, the basic idea is easier to live with. That puts the HiLux in a narrow position. It has the trusted Toyota dealer network, a proper body-on-frame construction, 5-star safety, full-time all-wheel drive, and quiet electric operation. But it asks more money than many electrified rivals while offering less flexibility than a diesel or plug-in hybrid. Now for the buyer test. You should seriously consider the HiLux BEV if most of your days are under about 150 kilometers, your routes are predictable, you return to the same charging point, you rarely tow more than 2 tons, and your complete load fits comfortably within the payload limit. It becomes more attractive if downtime is tightly managed, fuel deliveries are expensive, local noise matters, or the vehicle works in stop-start conditions where an electric drivetrain feels at home. You should probably avoid it if you tow a large caravan, regularly drive between regional towns, depend on remote site flexibility, carry heavy accessories and tools, park without reliable charging, or expect one ute to handle every family and work adventure. And if you are an ordinary private buyer who simply loves the idea of an electric HiLux, do not let anyone tell you that you are wrong. Just buy it with open eyes. Map your longest regular day, allow a healthy reserve, account for summer heat and highway driving, then repeat the calculation with passengers, gear, and a trailer. Do not build your ownership plan around the laboratory maximum. Build it around the worst normal day you genuinely expect to drive. So, has Toyota failed? As a direct electric replacement for the diesel HiLux, yes. The range is too short, the towing reduction is too large, the payload is lower, and the price is difficult to justify for most private buyers. But as a first-generation, back-to-base electric work ute, no. It is quiet, refined, properly engineered, safe, capable enough for defined jobs, and supported by Australia's largest automotive brand and dealer network. The sharp verdict is this. The electric HiLux is not the ute Australia dreamed about. It is the ute certain Australian fleets asked Toyota to build. For everyone else, it feels like the beginning of the story, not the finished product. A future version with a larger or more energy-dense battery, closer to 3.5 tons of towing, and a genuine 350 to 400 kilometers of real-world range could be a game changer. This one is a specialist tool, and like any specialist tool, it is brilliant when the job fits and frustrating when it does not. Now, I want your honest take. If you had around $80,000 to spend on a new ute, would you choose the silent electric HiLux, a diesel, or one of the new plug-in hybrids? Tell us why in the comments, because Australian buyers will have very different answers depending on where they live and how they use their ute. If this breakdown helped you, give the video a like and subscribe to TorqIQ. We've got more straight-talking Australian vehicle analysis on the way, with the numbers checked and the hype left at the door. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.